And welcome back to Let's Play Persona 3. Last time, we began our expedition into Tartarus for this moon cycle, and now we're picking up once again in Persona 3 Portable. Now, I've made quite the mistake coming into this place in Portable. I did not take an opportunity to create a fusion weapon for Mitsuru, specifically something using a Sun Persona. Yatagarasu would have been just fine, honestly. That would have, for my purposes, I don't really care about Mitsuru's outgoing physical damage. It's nice every now and again, but mostly I would have just liked to have the fire resistance, but because I am an idiot, I did not think to do that. Something seems different about the enemies in that area. Please be careful. So, we're mostly going to be focusing on Portable for our expedition here, because we haven't been getting much gameplay love for Portable recently, and I'll be trying to hit up all the enemies that I didn't show off in FES while doing so. In my extreme haste to get right into the nitty-gritty, I just realized I have a bunch of equipment on that would not be desirable for winning random battles. Got a Giga Guard band on, don't need that. Get our speed enhancer for the reliability that affords us. But yeah, not being able to patch out Mitsuru's weakness does create a bit of an unfortunate situation for the upcoming boss that we're going to be dealing with in FES and Portable, to the point where I'm kind of just considering dropping Mitsuru from the lineup entirely, not to replace her with anyone, because everyone is so weak. Well, maybe I could just sub in Shinji for the hell of it. But yeah, Mitsuru is just going to be a massive liability in the upcoming boss fight, precisely because of her fire weakness, and depending on what, well, honestly, this is Persona 3 Portable, we can just check right now. Shinji is at level 37. I think he'd be kind of just outpaced by the boss in terms of level scaling by the time we reach that point, so probably not a good idea to bring him along, but we'll see what happens. At this point, we're still dealing with the enemies from the previous section of Tizia, and the enemy encounters have not updated quite yet, so if I can, I'm going to try and avoid most things until we get into the section where there are actually new enemies. I do want to get into a lot of fights here, because we definitely need every level we can get. I just want to take a look at this. Nah, actually, it's not worth it. Let's get to the stronger enemies. I believe it's around floor 126 they update. Give me a moment, and I'll check to see what's beyond this floor. Sorry, no luck. Can you please go higher up? We'll get on it, Fuka. But yeah, let's actually just go into our system, look at our quests here, because the second enemy quest that we need to subjugate, yeah, floor 126, so that just is an easy way to tell when the enemy switch up is going to happen. Ideally, we'll run into those things pretty quickly, not have to worry too much about going out of my way for additional encounters. I will be trying to get some of the treasure on here if I can, though. Take this guy out in relative safety. No problem at all. But yeah, I would like to get the treasure here, because this is a payday floor, so this would help us out a ton, just getting more money. As you can see, I've used up a ton of my money just pulling Nandi in and out of the compendium, because he has proved to be a very good fusion material, just with having Cool Breeze and Maraku Kaja, and just fusing into some things that I like having. So it's been easy for me to find ways to put him to work beyond just the obvious benefit that having something with Cool Breeze, something that has access to Cool Breeze provides to us. I've carded quite a few things onto Nandi to give him good coverage so that I can stick to having him on a bit more reliably. As far as the core elements go, I don't have him rocking elect skills, but that's just purely because I don't really have access to any good ones. Since we're here, and I'm rambling anyway, Ares now has capped out strength, and he has access to Herculean Strike. Speaking of that, I'm actually thinking of something that I can fuse off my Taishi for, since he's already produced the card that I needed, and that was the main thing I wanted for. Hey, there we go, a 6 of Wands. I will definitely take that. At this point, this is a 3.2x multiplier to any experience gains you get, so that is a pretty sizable amount of EXP. Pretty much turns leveling into a matter of just getting 7 battles if you're getting those consistently. Obviously, I have not been getting those consistently because the game hates me. Orgone Rifle, gonna be a nice bit of cash in our pocket once we get out of here. I've got 2 opulent coins to sell also, which is also a nice little bit of capita. Not sure if I'll bother to do like any serious money grinding in Portable at this point. I don't really have anything I care to buy. Well, actually, there might be a couple things I care to buy from Officer Kurosawa in terms of accessories. But yeah, accessories from Officer Kurosawa. I'm just trying to continue my train of thought. I don't really need too much money on hand at all times. Can you go up a little higher? I'm having trouble with sensing what's ahead. In terms of Portable, we're kind of past the point where we really need too many matching Arcana bonuses for the persona that we carry around. Most of the social links where we need that kind of thing are right on the cusp of maxing out, and it'll be a while before we actually need to have a matching persona at all times for social linking purposes, so I'm not super concerned about that. A lot of the stuff that I'm working on currently, I'm going to have the matching Arcanas for them anyway, like Akihiko's social link. I've got Nandi in my stock. I'm always going to have access to him, so I'm never going to be too worried about needing the matching persona for Akihiko. I sensed something, but it's going to take some more time to pinpoint its location. There we go. As a bit of a coincidence, I'm not sure if this was planned on the part of Penguin Knight, the person who wrote the schedule that I'm using, but this is another accident-prone night, so you can farm out rare form encounters if you're traveling back through previously cleared floors this time. On this particular evening, which is another good way to make money if you care. Ooh, we got Strong Shadow over here. All truth be told, these guys are quite risky for me to fight in Portable because I don't have access to insta-kill spells, and even if I did, they are much less reliable in Portable, so very, very perilous to fight the Strong Shadows in this version, but as you can see, if you're lucky, the rewards cannot be overstated in terms of your character's growth. Look at that stuff right there. Would be nice to actually pick up Heatwave for some stuff. Yukari is inbound to learn her final skill, which is, you know, it's whatever, it's there. Ooh, it would actually be very, very helpful if Mitsuru could get to the point where she learns Ice Boost. I could take the Ice Bracers off her and focus on just giving her a Giga Guard Band, which would be very helpful. Continuing on, though, let's see here. I do actually want to stop and fight things now, but not that. It's a small thing. We're looking for Elegant Mothers, specifically, and there's a whole bunch of new enemies that I have to show off. I can't get a clear reading. Can you go up a little higher? I mean, it's stuff we've probably fought in Reload already, but, you know, just to go over any potential differences between them in Persona 3 Reload and Persona 3 Portable, and by extension FES, since, you know, these all use the same enemies here. You know, I actually do have all the Payday floors written down on a little scratch pad here, yeah. 125, 126, 132, and... Oh, no, wait, that's from Reload, sorry. No, it is 123, 124, 128, 130, 132, and 133. No, Fuka.
Tired. I feel a little tired.
Come on, ladies.
I'm a bit tired.
No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. We, ooh. Let's wait for this guy to make himself vulnerable. One funny thing about those Fuka lines pointing out that the protagonist is tired, those are actually recorded specifically for Persona 3 Portable, which you can actually kind of tell the subtle differences there, because Fuka's original voice actress actually upped her game considerably around the time that they recorded it for the game's Persona 3 FES's bonus scenario. Hey, Nihilax. Persona 3 FES's bonus campaign scenario, The Answer, and as you can hear, it's a little bit more not as awkward as most of Fuka's dialogue, which is otherwise just completely reused from the original PS2 version of Persona 3. Funny little thing there. I'm getting, like, terrible enemy spawns here, and this floor doesn't have good treasure anyway, it's the next floor, so we may as well just carry on. I'm not interested in wasting time on stuff that had literally no benefit to me to fight them. I sense something above you, but I can't seem to figure out exactly where it is. Can you go up a little higher? Yeah, Fuka's dialogue in Persona 3 FES and Portable gets quite repetitive, as she will often just say, you know, I'm looking for something, but I don't know where it is. That gets a little annoying to hear after a while. Thankfully, it's not voiced. Otherwise, it might just become a... one of those things that you hear, like, I don't know, a voice line that gets spammed in Xenoblade Chronicles. And I'm saying that like it's a bad thing, because I actually enjoyed that quite a bit. Oh, hey, several new enemies here. So, we've got Writhing Tiaras, who are, they nullify fire but are weak to ice, as well as a Brave Wheel, which this guy drains fire but is also weak to ice. Conveniently, I have set up my Nandi with Bufala here. Not Ma Bufala, unfortunately, just because I don't have it. So, I can just easily knock these things all down. We can set up for the all-out attack, and that is 2 enemies I can check off on my little bestiary here. The bestiary I'm using for Persona 3 FES and Portable is actually just something I recorded on my own time. I took note of everything that I fought in FES and just took down all of its HP, its weaknesses, as well as the skills to use. In case I'm not confident I can kill it in a single turn, I know what to be wary of if it gets a chance to go. Hey, there's a Taraka there. I don't think I've gotten that, so I will take that card. Would have liked an experience boosting wand, but can't get everything. Remember, the big thing we're looking for is Elegant Mothers, and yeah, as you can see, if we're not getting the wand card, the EXP you get from enemies is rather understated. Another set of Brave Wheels there, and I was easily able to dispatch them with Nandi. One thing to note is that despite the fact that Nandi has a gap in his coverage for when it comes to elect skills, I also created a Thoth using a different Nandi in order to get him with Cool Breeze, Marakakasha, and also he has Mazio skills by default, so that gives me an option for hitting Elec and still having Cool Breeze in effect. Let's see, got another set of enemies here, Death Twins. These guys have 260 HP, are weak to Bash, Drain Elec, and Repel Light. Well, unfortunately for them, I was realizing it should say Strike in my notes, but I often just, because the first Strike skill you get is Bash, I just always consider it Bash-type damage. A little funny thing I do with my note-taking there. Surprisingly understated damage, all things considered, but not terrible either. Probably just a matter of level differences coming into play here. Or rather, we don't overlevel them by a huge amount. And also, I didn't have Auto Tartarus in effect, so didn't really get good damage out of there. Definitely don't want to take the Cursed card. We'll grab this Six of Swords here. Pretty much every sword card we get, that is terrible experience, but every sword card we get is basically just collateral for future financial gains. So once we're able to get out of Tartarus and liquefy those, we'll have all the money we could possibly need. As long as I get around like 10 weapons or so, they sell pretty close to 20k at this point. Any other incidental bits of money I get or items I can sell. Oh hey, the Elegant Mothers. These are the enemies we're looking for. We need to get their hand nears. Let's see here. They are strong against ice, weak to elect, and darkness, and they nullify wind skills, which is handy-dandy, because they allow me to demonstrate the Thoth I got here. Not quite as good as a Thoth that I've created in Persona 3 FES, but he still covers all the things I've needed. One very big advantage we have here in Persona 3 Portable is that we have a maxed out Lover's Link. So I was able to create a Saki Mitama, who not only picks up Meteorama immediately, but is one level off of learning Divine Grace, giving us a very potent healing option without having to make any investment. Though I do have a couple of Divine Grace cards in reserve, so I could just use that on them if I wanted to. There's not a Taishi. I need to fuse him off and create a Succubus, because I don't really need his skills anymore. I guess I can put Endure Dark on this, even though it does not matter. But yeah, don't really need Nadataishi anymore. Aegis is getting very close to learning her first multi-targeting buff. Unfortunately, it is Masukakaja and not Marakakasha. It would actually be so helpful if she had access to Marakakasha at this point. That is the big advantage of investing in Junpei at this point, is he has that skill, and it gives him a huge amount of tactical flexibility. That encounter was an arcane turret, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I would just recommend running from arcane turrets, unless you have like a really, really good elect specialist and are also running Ken Akihiko. Like, it's just so inconsistent to be able to defeat them before they go, and enemies like that are always pretty dangerous, so I would not recommend trying to fight it out with them. Actually, I didn't take it. Note if we got any hand mirrors from that. Sorry, I forgot what. I didn't pay any attention to what Fuka was saying there. It's not particularly inspired dialogue, but let's go through our inventory here just to see if I got any of those collectibles that I need to get. Let's see, I got a spare gold handguard. I don't think I got any of them. Man, that is frustrating. Got our opulent coins to sell. Let's hit this enemy, see if we get lucky. No Elegant Mothers, but I did get another Wand of Fives and defeated some Brave Wheels, so that was a pretty good haul there. Oh hey, got the last new enemy here also. These are magical maguses. They are weak to fire, so they are essentially teed up for me to just finish them off with Nandi, with the Maragilao that I've carved onto him. It's so nice to be able to get that level of skill flexibility that you don't have in FES, just due to the existence of the skill card system. And honestly, I kind of prefer how skill cards are awarded in Persona 3 Portable, where you have to level up Persona a specific amount of times in order to get the card that they provide you, because it's just a more consistent and reliable way to get it. It's also just a lot easier to figure out how you get specific cards, because in Persona 3 Reload, you need to know which specific tier the skills you are looking for are for what card. Like, you need a Sword of Sevens to get the Elemental Boost passives. I know where the Strong Presence is, the 135th floor. It's still a ways away, but please keep that in mind. And even then, it's a huge degree of randomness if you get the one that you're looking for. It's only just in the recording session for Reload that I finally got an Ice Boost card, which I am thankful for. Now that I can have that, I can dupe that out endlessly and have unlimited access to Ice Boost without having to do any fusion shenanigans. We're getting to the point where it's going to be the priority for my fusions, now that I have access to Life Aid and Cool Breeze across all versions of the game, is mostly going to be creating good elemental specialists. I want to have strong casters that have access to the relevant boosts and amps for specific elements, and I can just switch to them as I need them for striking a particular elemental type. Currently not having any luck with getting the drops from the Elegant Mothers, which is unfortunate, but not a huge deal. I'm not going to go out of my way to try and farm for it on recording. If I get lucky and get it, that's great. If not, I just have to make sure I don't skip through Theodore's dialogue before we get a chance to return to him. Let's switch over to Thoth and blast these and see if we get lucky and get a few more items. One thing that I have noticed, and I think, again, this is another one of those things I probably mentioned in passing, but I do think since we're just going through it right now, trying to get to floor 135, I do think the drop rates in Persona 3 Portable, or at least they seem to be a little bit better. I usually get more gems and items from enemies than I do in FES, whereas in FES, I need to get the special bonus that doubles the drop rate for gems and stuff. We're actually coming up on a point in, oh, there we go, 2 Empress's Mirrors. Gets us a portion of the way there. If we're lucky, we'll get the rest in a single encounter. If we're unlucky, we will not. But yeah, we're actually getting to the point where I should probably go over the special bonuses you can get from praying to the Inari Sushi in the Naganaki Shrine. Very different from what its purpose is in Portable and Reload. Heading on to the next floor here. We're getting close. You're almost to the 135th floor. Please be careful.
There's someone on this floor. Find them, please.
Alright, will do, Fuka, will do. Didn't really have any plans to go too far on this floor anyway. Let's see. Ooh, rare chest. Not that it's gonna have anything good, but we will want to open it just to see if we can replace some of the attack mirrors I've been using, because I'm not confident in my ability to defeat these strong shadows without reliable insta-kills. I've been using attack mirrors as a little bit of insurance against them, because I've had a ton of spares. One nice thing about dealing with really underwhelming enemies like the Writhing Tiaras is I don't even really have to worry about their weakness. I can just wheel out Ares, do a Herculean strike, and just immediately delete them. Still get the shuffle time, because the protagonist always gets shuffle time if they're the one to finish the battle in these versions of the game. Girl holding her head. Is this one of the ones that went missing? We need to treat them as soon as possible. Please come back to the entrance immediately. And indeed, no escorts in this version, as I hammer in every time we escort people back. Let's see. Let's just go pop into Theodore real quick, see if there's anybody else we need to grab. Yeah, 136 and 140. Fortunately, that is actually the end of Tartarus. So once we're past the boss, or the end of our current access to Tzia, so once we're past the boss, we can make it to that pretty easily. Always save whenever you return to the lobby in Persona 3. You never know when something terrible is going to happen, especially on an accident-prone night like this, where we're likely to get an event floor as we just pop back onto this floor. Oh, wow, we didn't. Well, I can just immediately go up to the next floor then, because this is not a payday floor. The next one is, though, and in fact, 133 is also a payday floor, so nice to have those back-to-back sometimes. Please be careful. We'll wait for that one to pivot and maybe give us a better opening, and we can explore other sections while we're here, like this one. This guy we can just easily bait. De-aggro, go for it. Up to this point, I've been having pretty bad luck. Nice, a sexy lance. But up to this point, I've been having pretty bad luck with getting wand cards in shuffle time. Got one more Empress's Mirror there, but yeah, I've been having bad luck with the wands in shuffle time, but I've been having a decent amount of luck with them up to this point now, so I'm thankful for that. Definitely could use as much experience as possible. Ideally, I'd like everyone to be like around level 46 or so for the upcoming boss fight, but that's not really realistic. That's we'll see what happens though. Yeah, right. Grab our treasure here, get a Japan stick. Actually, I think I will sub that in. Let's see. This is a crit rate boosting weapon, or no, it's a plus strength +2. Let's see. The Japan stick is a crit rate boosting weapon, though. That could come in handy. Don't really need the +2 strength anymore, since, well, Ares is capped out anyway, so it would just kind of be a waste, but, it's, sometimes I just forget to switch to anything better. Not like I had anything better, though, now that I think about it. Whatever. I'm not sure if there's anything I really care to fuse for the protagonist at this point as far as fusion weapon goes. Hey, Mitsuru got Ice Boost. Nice. Now, the Ice Bracers are actually just a redundancy on Mitsuru now, so we can just take those off and give her the Giga Guard Band, which will give her a huge amount of defense, and Mitsuru doesn't have a horrible end stat really, so this should help her out quite a bit. Let's just take a look at her, especially with her good HP. I always get surprised by like how much HP Mitsuru has. Let's see here, gotta look at her persona. Yeah, give her 24N, pretty good, honestly. I'm probably going to keep those magic sandals on Mitsuru and Yukari for most of the rest of the game, I imagine, unless we happen to get something better, because they really don't care that much about having tons of evade, and that's just such an obvious good boon there. That's kind of something that I run into with footwear a lot in Persona 3, is that I usually just go for the stuff that either gives me a useful stat or in Persona 3 Reload gives me a useful ability. Please don't push yourself too hard. But yeah, one thing I was commenting on was fusion weapons for the protagonist in Persona 3 Portable. There's not really anything I care about beyond like the ultimate fusion weapons that give you huge stat bonuses in all categories, because there's just like the protagonist's flexibility kind of works against them in an interesting way here, where you don't really need to patch out any of their weaknesses. I suppose like a crit rate boost from a moon weapon could be useful in its own way, but it's also not something that I care a huge amount about. We're just going to Herculean strike these to delete them. I don't really need the ones that provide auto buffs, because I'm going to have so many personas that provide auto buffs, and for random battles, the only auto buffs I really need, or auto buff I should say, is just auto Sukukaja, and I have no problem using a speed enhancer there, because, I've got so many other things that can provide me the other stuff as needed, and I don't really care about the bonuses any other accessory can afford me, because all the persona that I switch to are more or less perfectly suited for the jobs that I'm pulling them out for innately. It's just kind of an interesting thing there. In Persona 3 FES, I care quite a bit about the elemental weapons, and the protagonist is an effective user of them, since, well, obviously they can use them, so just one of those interesting bits of mechanical drift work. I still care about fusion weapons a ton for my party members. For the protagonist, not really. I can probably settle for just a Legion weapon. Get that, actually, I think oh, whoops, that was the wrong one. Oh, hey, but I get a mulligan here. This is something that occasionally comes up when you get to cards. I'm sure I've mentioned this mechanic before also, or the blank cards. I did want to get the Hanuman here, because I don't think I actually had him already. Let's see, we'll just get rid of Jikokuten, he'll give me the same exact kind of fusions, and he's just going to produce higher level personae. Yeah, one of the things I could probably stand to create at this point, actually, is a Succubus, because she comes with Agidine by default, and that would be quite helpful, because I could just card Fire Boost onto her, and just immediately have a good Fire Caster at my disposal. Another persona I want to create for something else that they have is Rangda, who comes with Ma Tarunda by default. I don't really care about the multi-targeting effect of Ma Tarunda in most cases, but I do want to have it, just for the sake of, well, having Tarunda. I'm not using Akihiko in this version, so I'm never going to have him to debuff bot for me, so I do want to pay attention for having those kind of things in the situations where I might need to have them. Oh, Jesus Christus, this is the exact kind of fight I do not want to deal with. That is, two things that are either super durable or I don't have access to their weakness. Reliable access, I should say. Alright, we've got a rare form right here. While I'm thinking about it, let me just take a look at my Empress Mirror stock. I think I've got 3 of them. Haven't been having good luck getting more than that. Oh, I've got 4. So if I could just get 1 more, we have that quest completed. Something I haven't really gone over, but is a thing that you can do in Persona 3 Portable compared to FES. It is actually possible to catch rare forms in this version if you happen to spook them by accident, but if they run into walls, they still disappear like they do in FES, so it's not a super reliable thing, not a thing that you can really rely, being redundant here, it's not a thing you can really count on, and of course, am I gonna get any more opulent coins? I'm honestly not even sure if you can get duplicate fusion weapons in this version of the game. I had a miserable time getting any extras when I was trying to farm them out in a previous moon cycle. We just get junk on this floor, so I'm just gonna go past that. I'll probably hit everything that we come across, just in case we run into any Elegant Mothers. Get that chance to get one more Empress Smear, and complete the quest on this evening, and that was a thing that actually did have an Elegant Mother in it, but this is a bad problem I have when playing these games. Because I have the cursor memory on, it was defaulted to run, and I'm so used to actually fighting it out in so many cases, I assume it's on the skill command, and I just mash the A button as the battle starts to get the skill menu brought up, and like, whoops, I just ran away from the fight. Very devastating if it's not a preemptive strike. That encounter did have a couple Elegant Mothers, but they did not have... And they didn't have it, so the if not situation is I'll just get it off screen when we're going through. Oh, hey, another chance to go for it. And it was another if not, so yeah, if I don't get it, which I didn't, I'll just get it in like the last section of Chizia that's available for us right now, and grab it off screen, and then we can complete the quest at the by the end of this video, I imagine. Alright, let's just activate this device here, and let's go over to FES to start things off. Well, actually, we'll probably do a montage of stuff that happened along the way in Reload, and then we'll cut over to FES to see how the boss goes. Now for just a brief montage of things in Reload before I get into the boss fights. We've got an Elegant Mother here, something that I hadn't encountered along the way, surprisingly. They're just weak to light, very easy to deal with. Now that I've got some good auto buffs going on in my team, I created a Kukulin who has auto Tarukaja, auto Sukukaja, and auto Marakukaja. So now he'll come in and just buff up my entire team. I decided to forego Growth 3 and instead created him with Life Aid. So if the fight is won before it even gets to the protagonist's turn, he still enjoys his recovery. Next up, we have some Brave Wheels. I'll give you 3 guesses what these guys are weak to. Spoilers, it's ice. So we just want to pass around to Mitsuru, or I guess the protagonist can go first, if he's a little bit faster. I'm not used to him being far up in the turn order, although I have been creating much stronger personae for him, so I guess it makes sense. Regardless, once we strike their weakness, they go down without much of a fight, and Life Aid comes in clutch to make sure that I am never running low. I love Life Aid. Life Aid is good. It makes the game so much more tolerable if you have it. Next up, what floor is this? But we've got somebody to rescue on this floor here. Let me see once I get to it. Floor 135. Incidentally, one floor before we get into our next boss fight. Well, I accidentally interrupted Mitsuru there, but we have this missing person to rescue. Once again, we'll ask for an escort. And that's my cue. Hang tight. Of course, Junpei is jumping at the bit to rescue a girl. Alright, I'm here. Let me take care of this. You get going. Okay. And with that taken care of, we can actually get into our next boss fight. We've got yet more new enemies to deal with, and these guys are unfortunately teed up for an easy defeat, as they are just weak to strike skills. Good way to get stuff going for Shinji and Akihiko. I mentioned this in passing earlier, but this is another very good thing for Akihiko now that we have auto team buffs. His Theurgy charge condition will now always be in effect, meaning he'll be able to use his Theurgy far more frequently, because he doesn't get that much charge if he doesn't have his special condition in effect, I've noticed, so definitely a very helpful thing to have going forward. We got another new enemy over here in the Arcane Turret, and this guy, pretty intuitively, is just weak to elect skills, although he is quite sturdy, so probably this all-out attack won't finish him off, but that's not a huge deal, because we can just pop on over to Seiryu once our turn comes around, and for relatively cheap, finish him off with another Zyonga. Would be nice if we started getting tier 3 spells for things besides ice. Need to pull out something that has Agidyne again. Coming up next on floor, once again, I forgot what floor I'm on. I'm just vibing. I'm not really paying that much attention to where everything is. Floor 140, there we go. We're actually getting pretty close to the end here. Conveniently, quite a few things for us to grab. I'm just gonna cut ahead to when I reach the guy. There we go. Let Mitsuru finish that time. Anyways, after fighting our way here, we found this man in pain who's been waiting here several weeks for someone to come help him, and we have arrived just in time. Hey, Junpei. He's equal opportunity. He'll save this man in pain as well as the girl in pain. There we go. Alright, I believe that's everything interesting we really need to go over at this point in Tartarus, so let me get to the next boss floor. As per usual, we'll start things off in Persona 3 FES with what is probably the single most notorious boss in the game. I have a very particular setup, and it's by no means the best one possible for it, but it was the best one I could throw together on short notice, and some of it was just due to good luck. Now, I'm starting out with the Seiryu just because he has Auto Sukukaja, so that gives me a good buff to start with, but my main persona to be using in this fight is Thoth. I had fused this guy for the purpose of getting Medea Rama, and due to some serious good luck on a skill mutation, his Megiddo had changed into Divine Grace. I don't normally accept those, but Megiddo wasn't a skill I cared about, so I let it mutate and I got a skill that doubles the healing power of Medea Rama. That'll allow me to overtake any damage that this boss deals, which is key for surviving in this fight. For my equipment, I've got a Mother Saber that I fused an Incubus into in order to get Fear Resist. Ideally, I'd have Fear Immunity, but that accessory is tied to Yamata no Orochi, and I don't have a Moon Link to get him to the level where he'd produce that item, nor do I have an easy way to create one that could be trained up relatively quickly to get that item. So it was just something I didn't really plan for. If I were planning a bit more meticulously, I probably could have accomplished that by now, but this is what I'm going to have to make do with. Otherwise, my equipment's pretty standard, and I have the Indra Bracers because Thoth has Zyanga for his damage. I also have Dominion with Rakukaja in order to buff up my team's defense, though I also picked up some Protection Sutras for some more flexibility. One thing to note is that it could be good to have a persona that resists but does not nullify fire, like Okuninushi does here. So that is something to keep in mind. This boss primarily attacks with fire skills, and if you nullify fire or have anybody who does, it'll switch off of that. Otherwise, I've got Ken with his usual setup of Gibog and Vayu Bracers. Akihiko is just equipped with the best stuff I have for him. It doesn't really matter too much what he has. And Yukari has a Vitality Ring to make sure she has enough HP to survive what this boss does, because this boss does a lot of damage. Let's go.
It seems like it's exceptionally strong. Its Arcana is the Magician.
Fuka is not kidding there. This is the Sleeping Table, and this guy is a pretty common wall for a lot of players of Persona 3. What I want here is Yukari and Akihiko are going to be on heal and support. Speaking of, what turn order taken? That might be a little unfortunate that Yukari is last in the turn order. The main reason I want her on heal and support is for her to potentially use Mepatra. This boss can use Evil Smile on your team, or at least Evil Touch, and he has Ghastly Wail to follow it up. That's why I need Fear Resist. Otherwise, he will just blast you with fire spells and Megiddo spells, and they hit hard. That's why I want the healing of Thoth in play in order to deal with this guy, because, oh crap, that was already misplay. I wanted to actually switch to Dominion to use Rakukaja, but, what is it? Protection Sutras also afford me that kind of mistake, so not the end of the world. Thoth with Medea Rama and Divine Grace should allow us to stay ahead of any damage this boss does. I'd rather Akihiko hit it with Tarunda than Sukunda, but if it potentially misses, that is also good. Ken is going to be our main... Yeah, look at that damage! And that's after Rakukaja. Ken is going to be our main damage dealer for this fight. With Gibog and the Vayu Bracers, he is just totally set to deal big damage to this boss. Now, anytime that we get nailed with damage like that, I gotta use Medea Rama, because we will not be able to survive the follow-up. Fortunately, like I said, with Divine Grace, this allows us to actually outpace the boss's damage. There we go. Now, I don't actually care too much about, oh, and he also has Hamon, I forgot about that. Not a big deal, though. Yeah, that happens. I don't care too much about Hamon or not Hamon, Tarunda, in reducing his damage any further. As long as I have a Thoth in play in order to use Medea Rama, I can keep ahead of his damage, but having it in play will allow me to survive consistently when Rakukaja wears off, and in Yukari's case, she's already been robbed of the Rakukaja buff, so she's going to be taking big damage once again. We might also get lucky with the occasional miss here, but I am not going to count on that.
there.
Okay, get that Medea there. Not necessary, but, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, the main thing Yukari is there for is for utilizing, Maypatra if the boss decides to inflict fear on anyone, because I don't want to get hit with that Ghastly Whale combo. So we'll do Medea here, and now we have to wait for everybody's Rakukaja to wear off before I can re-up it. Not a big deal, though. With, Rakunda in play, Ken's damage is going to be even better. One thing that we are going to have to worry about is the occasional miss from Ken, which is not kind of a failure point that I can't really account for, though Akihiko's Secundas will definitely help with that. If you want this fight to be a little bit more consistent, it can also help to have Yukari up to level 43 in order to utilize Medea herself, which I'm not super big on. Ooh, that actually is a rough situation to find ourselves in, because his attack debuff is going to wear off soon, so I have to make a decision here. Do I want to up the defense buff on people? That's kind of where some problems come in, is now my cycling is a little bit off here. The protagonist will die if I don't do this, so we're going to have to put this in to make sure, and then we'll figure something out once we get into the next leg of the battle. Let's just see what he does here. Let's see, Diorama probably going on Yukari, which actually is not a bad thing, because if Akihiko gets killed, Yukari has Recarm. Okay, here comes Maraki-Dine. This is the other main thing you can do, and yeah, big damage there. Oh no, never mind, she's not going to do that. Okay, so that puts us in a pretty rough spot. Now I'm kind of going to have to turtle up and try and get us healed here. Yeah, this fight is very, very difficult for reasons just like this. It's also why I'm not using Parvati, because she is fire weak. So we'll use Thoth to get ourselves healed up here, and ideally we'll get a turn where we can get somebody revived back in. But that's going to be conditional on this guy not dealing enough damage to keep Yukari from doing a heal there. Ooh.
Hang in there.
Okay, let me think. I'm gonna try and pull this one out, but it's not looking too good here. We will... Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is I definitely made a mistake here. This is definitely winnable with the setup that I got. Might be worth it to bring Junpei, honestly, instead of Akihiko. Let's take a risk there. Okay, luckily he decided to do something stupid. Okay, Yukari's gonna heal herself, and then when Akihiko's turn comes around, this this actually gets us back in the fight pretty well. Okay, yeah, he'll use a debuff. That helps immensely, actually. Okay, that means that, oh, never mind, defense reverted. I want to up Rakukaja on myself. So that is what I'm going to do. Let's get Dominion back in. A little bit of good luck there in him deciding to use Hamon. A lot of bosses just take arbitrary actions rather than anything calculated to try and ruin your day. So that is a situation where we kind of benefit from that. There we go. It's a good thing I decided to do that. Okay, so she's going to go for Medea. What I'm going to do here is use a Medea Rama, and I would love it if, Rakunda, oh, that's fine. I would love it if this thing did something that was non-damaging so that Yukari would bring Ken back into the battle. We're getting control back of this fight. I want to be very meticulous about what persona I actually set to here, because I do not want to accidentally throw out something that's going to make this fight unwinnable. I could also manipulate him to avoiding Maraki-Dine by upping,
Hang in there.
what is this? Okuninushi, but I don't think that would be a worthwhile thing to do.
Don't overdo it.
Okay. I think at this point, this would actually be a good point to bring Ken back in. Luckily, we're flush with Bombs of Lives. Its attack debuff should still be in effect, so not overly concerned about that. It would be great if you use that on Ken. Akihiko's fine, especially if he misses. Okay, we're getting pretty good luck here. And Secunda, beautiful. That'll prevent Ken from missing. Okay, we've pretty much got control back in this fight.
Please help me.
And defense is reverted there. That is also good. That is exactly what I want to see. Now our sequencing should be back in the place that I need it to be to win this. We should have this in the bag. Some of you may have doubted me when I said Ken using the Gi-Ball was one of the best things ever. Well, now you're about to see why it's so good. Yeah, you keep doing that. That is honestly perfectly manageable. If he's not doing damage and Yukari's on heal support, she'll bring back in Akihiko 100% of the time.
Let's go.
And there we go. Okay, honestly, I might actually be able to chip in with my own attacks now, which is quite good. There we go. And this guy's pretty close to dead. Can I steal the glory from Ken here? Let's first get Thoth out, just to make sure I have him ready at a moment's notice. Don't want to make the mistake to switch on, or not switch to him, or switch to something wrong. Just get that point of failure out immediately. Okay, his defense is reverted. That's not a big deal. Megidola is no problem. And what the hell, let's just go all in. Okay, it nullifies strike attacks. Not that that really mattered. Ken does indeed get his well-earned victory. There we go. Very difficult fight, very scary fight, but we made it through. Admittedly, with a little bit of luck on him stupidly using Hamon when he could have just kept me locked down with Maragi Dines. But I'll take it, I'll take it. Definitely could have done that cleaner, but a win is a win. Also, just cutting to our treasures real quick, we got 2 bombs of lives and a Soma. Very nice stuff there. Alright, so we know what this thing is capable of in FES. Let's give it the old college try in Portable and see if I can't make this work. Here it comes.
It seems like it's exceptionally strong. Its arcana is the magician.
Oh boy, you ain't kidding, Fuka. You ain't kidding. Anyways, to start things off here, I'm going to swap over to Thoth and get Marakukaja on our party, and then the Femsi... When does it go in the turn order? Ah, God, it's right after us. Then the Femsi will switch off to Rangda to hit it with Matarunda, and ideally if we can just alternate between having Matarunda. Okay, that's actually about the best thing it could do. I actually have tons of homunculi available to me in Persona 3 Portable, so, and they help everyone out, so I'm not too concerned about it doing that. That is like actually the most ideal thing it could do for me. Let's just chip away at it. Oh, you know, I was supposed to send Aegis into Orgia mode. That was a mistake on my part, but not a big one. For right now, what we're gonna do is just have Mitsuru guard. Now, let's get over to Rangda here. Fused her up just using Sakimitama, so she has Meteorama. She doesn't have access to Divine Grace. I could card it onto her, but I don't think it's really going to be necessary. Let's Matarunda this thing, and now it's damn... Ah, I forgot to put Aegis into Orgia mode again. I'm so dumb. Okay, that's way more manageable than it was in Persona 3 FES, so if that's what we're that's what we're facing down, honestly, I can probably have Mitsuru keep up the offensive here, and even though she'll take a ton of damage, I'm not overly concerned about what this thing is capable of doing to us. So let's do that. Okay, that just whiffed entirely. Mitsuru, let's fire off with Bufala here. Now that she has an 8 Ice Boost and the Giga Guard Bands. Hey, nice, it actually can't dodge anymore. Let's get Aegis into Orgia mode, and she's just going to tee off on this thing. Let's switch, let's see, Ares as resistant to fire here, so that works out pretty conveniently. We can now also blast away at it with Herculean strikes here. And with the fire resistance... Oh, god damn it. Of course. That's too good to be true. That's a bit of a harsh bit of damage to Mitsuru there. I'm okay with Evil Touch. Aegis is about the best character it could have hit with that, because she's just going to immediately go into Orgia mode and cancel the fear status. Orgia mode does take precedence over that. We do want to keep our HP topped off, though. Remember, we don't want to underestimate this at any point. There we go. That is purged. Kind of interesting how that's like the just absolute complete opposite of how that works in Persona 3 FES. Okay, let's see here. We should be able to get away with letting this thing fire off another Maragi Dine. Our attack is going to revert, our defense is going to revert, but that is not a big deal. I can have Mitsuru guard next turn. Okay, let me see here. You know what? I'm actually gonna Raccoonda it. This will get a little bit more damage coming out from Aegis. Stacking her Orgia mode bonus with a defense drop on this thing is pretty helpful for us. Okay, that's like the best thing it could do there. I'm thankful for that. Okay, get a little bit more damage coming out from Yukari here also. Okay, so this fight is not as scary as I feared it was going to be. I was really worried about this fight coming into it for portable, but we honestly should have pretty good control on this. This fight is tough because it's a serious damage race, and in FES, this guy just beats you in that race handily. He absolutely stomps you in the damage race in FES, so just a kind of tough thing to have to deal with in that version of the game. But in this version of the game, we're honestly sitting pretty. Okay, let his attack revert. Here comes another Maragidine. Not really afraid of that in this situation. Yeah, Yukari will survive so long as I have Mitsuru guard. Ah, come on, don't miss for me on that. If we were really lucky, we could get a crit there. Man, we are having a terrible time hitting there. Okay, so going to guard there, get the Matarunda up, and honestly, this fight should be in the bag. I'll have Yukari heal us up. I guess is probably going to get taken out at some point, because she'll be taking huge damage from this boss, but that's not a concern at all, really, because we can just send her right back into Orgia mode when she gets taken out. She just basically takes nothing from this boss. When she is in Orgia mode. Orgia mode's about to crap out on this turn. Or is it next turn? I do have a bad tendency to lose track of when Orgia mode is going to bottom out. We're gonna have Mitsuru guard again, and let's see here. Just thinking about what the smart thing to do here would be, which I guess since our attacks are so weak under normal circumstances due to the Naginata that I've equipped, we'll just do that. Gonna have Yukari heal the party here. And now I think this should top us off. I could have Mitsuru just fire off a Bufala. I'm not overly concerned about the boss getting a double turn here, because I want Aegis to be taken out anyway. Okay. Hit this guy with a Bufala. Let's see here. Let me look at its stuff here. Yeah, the defense debuff has gone down, but I'm not going to... Actually, no, I'm going to re-up it. What am I saying? Ares is resistant to fire. I gotta keep remembering that is what I'm working with here. Okay, Hamon takes out Aegis there, but the Homunculus... Oh! I did not know that canceled the cooldown status if you have a Homunculus. Okay, a little bit of tech there, I suppose. A funny little bit of tech there. Oh, and she goes right back into it. Okay. That also didn't clear it from her tactics. I'm learning so many funny things about Aegis, because I've never really used Aegis before. Not that I think she's horrible or anything, it's just I've always found Junpei to be superior, so I'm finding a lot of interesting things out about Aegis in this playthrough. It's just kind of funny to see like all the weird little interactions that Orgia mode has with the various other facets of the game. It is honestly kind of a buggy tactical option that Aegis has. A lot of the things it's doing don't seem to be intentional. Megidola is honestly not that big of a concern at all. Let's just go for the Gorilla here. Ah, come on. Aegis going for Fatal End here. Do I want to go for Glory with Mitsuru here? You know what? Go for Glory. No guts, no glory. There we go! Victory is ours! I was dreading this battle, especially because I forgot the sun weapon for Mitsuru, but that was about the best way that possibly could have gone, considering the mistakes I made. If I had the sun weapon for Mitsuru, this would have been a walk. I wouldn't have had to worry about it at all. Deciding to go with what I went for with the Hermit. I'm actually not going to bother setting up Sylphiodora, because honestly, with the team setup that I'm using here, we've already got so many auto buffs in play. Why even bother wasting Fuka's SP on that stuff? We're not going to have auto Tsukakaja going, but I'm not too concerned about missing here, so let's just get to work. We'll have Konomaru just fire off with a Maega, see what we're dealing with here. Alright, so that reflected, but that's not a big deal. We got Eerie Sound coming in, which is a bit unfortunate. Yukari definitely would be good to have here, because her Maypatra, but once again, I don't have access to that. But we do have Maypatra gems at our disposal, so why not make use of those? Eventually, the pharmacy will sell multi-targeting status cures, which will be a huge boon to us once it happens, but we're still waiting a little bit on that, I'm afraid. Let's have Aegis just fire off myriad arrows here. We're just gonna have her grind by slowly and steadily. Okay, that guy drains that. We've got some varied resistances and weaknesses to consider here. I'm just gonna have Shinji set up a bloody charge here. He's got his Endure, so I'm not really overly concerned about having him go into super low HP ranges. And now we can scan around and see what we've got to deal with. So that guy is Elec. This guy is Fire, and then this guy right here is Ice. Okay, so I can probably use some gems to fire around here. So I'll make sure this one guy drains Strike, and this one guy drains Pierce. That's going to be a little tricky to work around, but I think we can manage. What I'm going to do here is, let's have Koromaru fire off Fire here, since he can exploit that weakness. And then what we're going to do here is pass over to the protagonist. And what I want to do here is, let's go with Black Frost here to exploit the ice weakness. This will deal a lot of damage. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should have used King and I. I'm just thinking on what I should do here. Get all that in effect. What would be the most optimal thing to do here? I could switch over to Shinji and have him pop off Bloody Charge in order to delete this guy so I don't have to worry about him anymore. Actually, you know what? I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go with King and I. Just take advantage of the extreme damage this guy is going to take while he's down. If I'm lucky, I might even freeze one of these guys. Didn't get a freeze there, but that's not a big deal. Poisma is just a mild nuisance, honestly. Let's see here. And now I can actually switch over. Let's see here. I don't want to... Obviously, I'm not interested in using the all-out attack, but I can take advantage of what this is going to do here to get another pass off here. And what we're going to do is, let's just survey real quick. That guy's going to get his action, and he's the fire weak one, right? Yeah. But I think what I want to do here, really, is just take advantage of the Bloody Charge, plus the fact this one guy is down. We're going to use Shinji's Theurgy here. He's going to be under half HP, so he's going to be recharging that again really quickly. If this goes according to plan, this should either kill this guy or take him very close to it, and then I can just spam strike attacks from Shinji and Aegis in order to close out this battle. Didn't get the kill there, but that's not a big deal. The Tartarus, just a mild nuisance, really. Nothing I need to be overly concerned about here. Let me think, though. Let's see, that guy's about to get his turn back. You know what? Do I have a Deikaja gem? I don't think I do. Ken would have been great for this one. What I can do here, though, is I can just use an Aguilau gem on this guy. Get the turn back over to somebody else. Or, would it be worth it to do that without Koromaru? Nah, let's cancel. Actually, I got a better idea here. Let's pass over to the protagonist, because he can actually, he does have Deikaja. What we can do here is, I believe White Rider has it. Somebody has it. I know I had it on somebody. Did I get rid of it? No, it was, Kukulin has it. I can just switch back to him, get that Deikaja in. We are going to have to worry about our buffs purging very soon, but that's not a big deal. This guy gets back up. Herculean Strike is going to hurt a little bit. Oof, the critical is unfortunate there. There goes Koromaru, but it's not the end of the world. It's tragic, but it's not the end of the world. Let's see here. Got this guy getting back up soon. We can't deal any fatal damage to him with Heat Wave. Huh. I'm having a bit of a weird time with this fight. And unfortunately, the one thing I don't have any gems for is I do not have any gems for... ice, so that's kind of annoying. What we're going to do here instead is we're just going to bring Koromaru back in. Let's use one of our Bombs of Life. We have so many of those, we may as well make good use of them. This fight's going a little messy, but this is what happens when I don't really study and I just kind of do things on the fly. Let's see here. Or I could go for Getsue on this guy, see if this takes him out. Pretty good damage, and yes! Oh boy, very good stuff there. Okay, what we're going to do here now is we're going to switch over to Black Frost, and I think we've got one more turn of our buffs being in effect, so what I'm going to do next is I'm not going to use, not going to use the all-out attack. I'm going to switch over to Shinji, and now that that thing is not draining strike attacks anymore, I can just pop off with these. I can spam the heck out of these, do big damage to these things. Aegis can also join in with hers once her turn comes back around. The Matarunda is not that big a deal. We were about to bottom out on that anyway. What I can do, though, is instead, since she doesn't have Ma Tartarus yet, which is a bit unfortunate, but we should have a Fierce Sutra here. We'll just, let me see, actually I got the Ma Tartarus potato. Let's just make use of that. Get everybody topped up a little bit more. This guy's gonna get back up and probably go for another Herculean Strike. Yep, not worried about Shinji's HP there. Look, he's got Endure in effect. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna have him use his Bleeding Theory on this thing. Should probably take it out. Doesn't have enough HP to use Heat Wave, but not a big deal. If we're lucky, this will crit. Doesn't look like we're lucky here, but once this gets back around to the protagonist's turn, then we can just nail the weaknesses and we'll be fine there. Alright, little tough battle here. I definitely played this a bit suboptimally, but again, it's just kind of winging it and calculating my risks here. Fortunately, the protagonist buffs are still in effect, so Black Frost will allow us to do this. And let me see how much HP this leaves him with. Yeah, we can go for the all-out attack finisher. Why not? Always nice when you're able to get it that way. Good stuff, good stuff. And a bunch of levels cascade through there. As we presume, the higher we ascend, the stronger the enemies are. Arf, arf! Indeed, we must remain vigilant. However, the fortuitous return of Aragaki-san has bolstered our forces. Arf, arf! Yes, exactly, as you say, Koromaru-san. Hey, Zeller, are those two actually holding the real conversation? Yeah, they can communicate. Woof, woof! Just as Koromaru-san says, we are besties. We understand each other perfectly. The idea of Koromaru saying besties is just very good. Koromaru-san is saying, I'm glad Aragaki-san came with us. He also said Aragaki-san is not only a force in battle, but he's also very kind to me at the dorm. And why, just the other day, he secretly cooked me a full meal. Hey! Hey Zeller, story time's over. Let's go. I said let's go! Well, I guess that answers Shinjiro's inquiry. That one was good. I didn't know that you'd get such a complex one with that combination of characters, so that was fortuitous.
Tired? I get the feeling he's concerned.
Alright, at floor 143, we find yet another boss for us to take on. Now I'm just going to do some quick preparations, but for both this boss and the upcoming Monad passage, I'm just going to stick with the Classic Seas team. So let me get my preparations done, and then we'll be ready to continue the boss fights and finish this video. Wrapping up my business in Persona 3 FES, this looks like the end. Good job, everyone. You can come back to the entrance now. Let's grab our old document here and turn this into Elizabeth real quick. Accepting the request from Elizabeth, we're going to get a cool 5 beads to use, although they're not bead chains, so not quite as useful as they could be. I see you've obtained the old 6-old document from Zia. Very impressive. You've met the deadline as well. Little by little, you're uncovering hidden truths that most humans will never be aware of. What does the world look like from your eyes? I'm sure you see it differently than before. That's the power of knowledge. Please accept your reward. Very nice. We've got a variety of quests that we need to polish off here, but they will be taken care of in due time. The other one that I need to take care of is Mikazuchi Munichika, which I'll explain where I get that when I find it, because I actually need to look up what floors I can find it on. But I will take care of that after I finish my real goal for Persona 3 FES, which is getting Yukari and Junpei to the levels I want them to be at. Level 44 and level 43, actually reverse respectively. So Yukari 43, Junpei level 44. They were level 40 when they got here, so as long as I can run into a few strong shadows, I should be able to get them up there relatively quickly, but that will remain to be seen. Other than that, I may do some item gathering while with a strong persona. Since I'm able to fuse some pretty powerful stuff at this point, it won't be hard to scare off most of the enemies into Zia at this point. But that's what I'll take care of on my own time in Persona 3 FES. Let's cover the other versions and wrap up the video.
There's someone on this floor. Find them, please.
And for one final Persona 3 portable montage, I know we've had a ton of it in this video, but our person to find is on floor 137, the last person to find, so we'll report to them with the entrance, and now let me wrap up the rest of the business in portable. Alright, and we've reached the end, just showing off the barricade here. I honestly think Tazia's looks pretty fancy, so we'll grab our old document here, and it only took me a couple minutes to also get the Empress mirrors in Persona 3 Portable, so let's close out the request we have with Theo for the moon cycle. It seems you've completed a request. One moment please while I check. The Empress's mirror is an interesting item. I see that you brought 5 of them with you, just as I requested. Technically 6, but who's counting? Well, Theo is, but he's counting poorly. But I'm surprised that Shadows would be so vain. Your reward this time is a piece of equipment perfect for a lady such as yourself. Please make good use of it. And we get some quick pumps for our efforts. Well, continuing on from that, we of course got the old document to turn in. We'll just see if Theo has anything unique to say on it. Probably not. I might do some of the special fusions in order to advance that quest line in Portable also, but I'm not in a hurry to get that done either. It seems you've completed a request. I see you've obtained the 6-old document from Tazia. Very impressive. You've met the deadline as well. Slowly but surely, you are digging away at finding a hidden truth that most humans will never be aware of. What does the world look like from your eyes? I'm sure it looks different to you now than it did before. The power of knowledge can alter your perceptions. Please take this as your reward, and get 5 beads for our effort. Would have kind of preferred cash, but, honestly, I think I'm kind of fine on money, and most other things. This was a much smoother trip than I was expecting in Portable, so I'm probably not going to do any cash farming. I got plenty of equipment to sell to pad out our coffers for any incidental expenses I need, plus to buy the upcoming accessories. I think I've got 99 Malachites. I should probably use some of those. I haven't really been buying any, or trading for any, fusion spells in this version of the game, because it's just kind of not very practical and I don't really care about them. But let's see here. We've got so much equipment that I can sell, so yeah, look at all these weapons that I got. And I was trying to find something, I probably passed right by it, but actually it should be right around here. Where is it? We got those massive wheels to sell. Opulent coins, I got 5 of those. That's gonna be a huge amount of money. Okay, I've said my piece for Portable, let's move on. Alright, just did some fusions there, and I was able to make a Titania. Now, I'm actually 1 level short of being able to create Rhonda at this point, and I definitely want to do that before the night is over. Titania, the High Queen of Fairies, is wife to Oberon. In other words, her power is irrefutable. I am sure she will be a great boon. Please take this as a reward. Titania and Oberon actually create a fusion spell in Persona 3 FES, but sadly that was not one that was retained for this game, probably because it sucks, but we'll get to that when we actually have both those personae in Persona 3 FES. Now, one of the things that I want to do going forward, now that I'm actually getting just set up on having good team auto buffers, as well as several things with Life Aid, is eventually I want to start making elemental specialists. Obviously, we've got we've got Black Frost set up with ice. Rhonda is actually going to be very good for setting up with fire, so I'm going to want to do that at the earliest available opportunity. That's neither here nor there, though, right now. What we want to do right now is get into this boss fight. The enemy is strong. Please make sure you're ready before fighting. Let's go.
Let's do this.
This'll be fun. Come on, let's move. And I was expecting something to be said there. And Fuka has her theurgy ready. We're gonna take this guy pretty seriously, because again, I didn't study up, so I don't know quite what he's capable of doing. Here comes a Marajian, which I'm not too afraid of. That's a little perilous for Mitsuru, but she'll hang in just fine. The fact that he's concentrating, a little scary, but nothing that I shouldn't be able to handle. We're going to get Ma Tadarkaja set up on everyone, just because that is a good idea. With all our buffs and debuffs in effect, we should do pretty well here. Mitsuru is going to lower this guy's defense. Once Akihiko's turn comes around, we'll then scan it and figure out what it's capable of. I'm probably going to have to use a SP restoring item on Mitsuru once this is over, because we have the Monad Passage coming up, and that's something that I want to make sure I'm able to deal with. Okay, so good thing I didn't have Mitsuru attack there, because that would have been a complete waste of time. What we're gonna do here, we don't know quite what this thing is capable of doing, so... Well, actually, I've got all my defense buffs and his offense debuff, so honestly, I think I can get just right into attacking now. How did you miss? Here comes the Marajian. Not unexpected, but not something I'm overly concerned about. Vile Assault, yeah, going on Mitsuru. Not too surprising, but that is just something we're going to have to bear the slings of. Let's see here. I think, probably the smartest thing to use here would be Dakini, who is not vulnerable to what this guy is capable of doing. Once Akihiko's turn comes around, we'll probably get Mitsuru back in. For now, though, we're just going to fire off with the Herculean strikes, and ideally, sooner rather than later, we'll get a critical hit, like so. Well, that speeds up the fight considerably. You know what? Change of plan. Let's have Shinji use the life limit on Mitsuru there. And I think with the situation we're going into here, I've got Akihiko's attack buff, this thing's offense and defense debuff. This is a good a time as any to use his buff-boosted Lightning Spike. Glorious stuff to see. Couldn't finish it off, but basically a love tap will take care of this thing. Of course, he's going to get another attack off of Mitsuru, but that's fine. Go for your Vile Assault there. See, Mitsuru, you took that like a champ. Like I keep saying, strategically, I picked the worst things possible to bring to these fights. Granted, this time I had a clear theming in mind, if nothing else. The crits there were quite fortuitous, made that speed up quite a bit, and we get something pretty cool from this guy. Pentagram Stone. We can now fuse Dekarabia, the Pentacle Demon, a full type, and he unlocks something pretty good for the protagonist. Hey, Matarunda! Beautiful thing to see. Will make Akihiko so much more economical, and he's getting Masuku Kaja! Awesome!
Excellent.
Your skills are still sharp as ever, Aragaki. Nah, spare me the flattery. I mean, there's some heavy rust for sure, but that's also comparing you to how much stronger I've gotten.
What?
Oh, you care to try me? Hey, come on, now that... Well, actually, you know what? Now that I'd like to see.
What a job.
Great, last thing I need is you riding the coattails of this knucklehead. That's rich, getting called a knucklehead by the king of knuckleheads. What are you, a kindergartner? Let's call it a draw for now. You two. I know you have a history together, but any fool who can't act his age is ripe for execution. Now which one of you wants to be first? Fine, let's get going, Zeller. These two are thoroughly emasculated. Hold it, I'm not finished talking. I expect a relapse prevention report from both of you for hindering club activities. What? How many pages this time? The hell? You're actually gonna write it? I'm not writing any stupid report. Sorry for the delay, Zeller. I'll give them a more comprehensive talking to later. For now, let's just keep moving. Oh, you guys. I'm glad I was able to get multiple group conversations like this. Do I not have Divine Grace anymore? Did I forget to, I must have fused off Vasaki at some point. Let's see, well, I should actually... Why is Divine Grace not proccing for that? Is it because it's not on the same thing? Huh, I could have sworn that just took effect, regardless of if you had the persona that has it equipped or not. Oh well, not a big deal. We've got so many life stones. I'm getting sidetracked anyway. We've got a monad passage to clear, as well as some items to grab. First order of business is this precious egg right here. We've got a 3-fragment chest. That is no skin off my nose here. There we go, get a Otagine, which is something we need for a request from Elizabeth, so good pickup there. And then finally, let's pop this sucker open and get a tuxedo. I believe that one goes on Shinji, and you know what? I think this fellow could stand to look a little more dapper. Come on, Shinji, show me what you got here. Alright, yeah, he's ready to go out for the Ritz. Oh, I like the little ponytail he's got too. You're looking dapper, my man, you're looking dapper. Now give us your award-winning smile. Anyway, continuing on here. Like I said, we should probably make sure we're good on SP for the characters that do not have Life Aid at their disposal, so give some soul spinaches to Mitsuru and Fuka. And you know what? I'll use a Snuff Soul on the protagonist, because we're probably not going to get any, Life Aid procs in these Monad Passage battles, so better go in as prepared as possible. Since the layout of this floor doesn't change, this door likely won't disappear, so we can explore it at any time. We'll leave it up to you, leader. We're exploring it now, Fuka. Heading into the Monad Passage here. The Devil Tarot is reacting. It looks like the door has been unlocked. I can sense strong shadows just beyond it. Please be careful. Alright, heading into here. And let's see what we've got awaiting us this time. Well, it looks like we've got another door. Fascinating, fascinating. Let's continue on and see if we can't find anything past this door. I gotta say, this is quite the fancy-looking hall. Now, here is actually something to fight. It's a very powerful enemy. Okay, I'm ready. It's nice not having to remember to set up Sylphid Aura anymore, honestly. Well, time to do this. Hope you're ready. Kinda wish Shinji got a new portrait for that. Okay, so yeah, there were more enemies than it seemed in here. Well, now that Akihiko has Matarunda, he has a perfect opener for fights where we don't know what's gonna happen. Just have him throw that out, and it'll be good. Ooh, Poison Mist. This is gonna suck to deal with. Yeah, everybody got poison there. And we unfortunately do not have multi-targeting poison cures, and as far as I can tell. Yeah, we've got plenty of single-target status cures. No multi-target poison cures, though, so let's see. We're just gonna have everybody go around and give themselves a poison cure here. Let's see, Virus Breath. Come on! As soon as I got rid of it, it's almost not even worth trying to get it cleared. You know what? Let's have Mitsuru use Mabukula here. I was just kind of getting the feeling, you know, these things look ice weak. Okay, well, that thing's been inflicted with freeze. You know what? That works out pretty conveniently for us. Unfortunately, I cannot pass because she's poisoned, or rather, I cannot shift. So let's. Oh, whoops! I cured the, or I should have used a single target there, and it's gonna get another opportunity to go here. All right, what we're gonna do here is to make sure nobody gets taken out. We're just going to use a what good first aid items do I have? I really should have done some shopping before I get in here. This is by far one of my biggest weaknesses with recording for the series. I always forget to do supply shopping. It's a really bad habit of mine that I need to get over. Alright, magic wall erected. I'm not overly... Oh, hey! I noticed this little thing in the background does reflect that he's wearing a tuxedo. Good damage dealt there. Okay, now we already know what these things are weak to, so I'm not overly concerned about that. Is this weak to anything? As a matter of fact, it is. Let's go for Mazionga here, just to see if this hits multiple things. Ella, that actually cleared out the, what is it? The blah blah blah. The Makarakaran without dealing really that much damage to Akihiko, so that's pretty good for us, I think. Let's see here. Who do I want to cure? Do I even want to bother to cure? These guys are just all down, so it's not really a big deal. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to start passing out these Vitae Golds and just try to get some of this poison cleared off. It's really frustrating to deal with. Poison is just a remarkably obnoxious status ailment in this game. Let's see here. Okay, none of them are resistant to strike attacks, and now that they're all down, we can just go pop off with the Herculean strikes. Look at that damage. And Shinji has boosted damage against downed enemies with his weapon currently, so this is going to deal even more beautiful damage. I just love to see it. Okay, this guy's getting up, but I'm not overly concerned about that. He's just going to uselessly Makarakaran. That's just a mild nuisance. At this point, we've got this fight in the bag. These guys are about to get annihilated. I should note that Shinji has picked up Deathbound at the most recent level that he's gotten, but because I have the bead chain on, or not the bead chain, I was just looking at my items there, because I have the strike bracers on him, that isn't really that helpful. Let me see here. What I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to have Akihiko just clear this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to have let's have Mitsuru lower its defense, or never mind, it's coming right around to my turn. I can just use Zionga on this thing to take it down. Eventually I'll have a strong Zionga user. Let's blast this thing with Zionga, and then we can pass it over to Shinji and just have him heat wave the thing for big damage. Much better than using an all-out attack, especially because Mitsuru and Akihiko are poisoned, so they're not really going to be able to contribute much to that. Let's see here. What I want Mitsuru to do... there isn't really anything that I care to ever do. That thing's turn is coming up, though. Let's have her use a multi-targeting healing item on the team. We'll have her use one of these first aid kit mediums. We do have a decent supply of these. Regardless of what this thing does, this will give us a good degree of protection against anything it can throw out. And it's just Makarakaring itself, so not really something I'm overly concerned about. Okay, just hit it with another Heat Wave for not exactly as good damage as it was previously, but still good enough. And honestly, we can just have Akihiko Gigantic Fist it. Well, whatever. He defeated it. Okay. That was a pretty obnoxious battle, as any battle with ailments involved tends to be. Hey, some money. I've been making tons of compendium purchases, so any money I get is just much appreciated. Getting poisoned is scary. Continuously depletes your health. Make sure you always have some way to cure it whenever you explore Tartarus. But on the flip side, it could be a potent strategy against our enemies. You should try using it when you get the chance. There might be a treasure chest up ahead, but I sense an enemy presence there too. If you're worn out from battling, don't push yourself too hard. Take some time to recuperate. We're fine, Fuka. You don't need to worry too much about me. Let's use a made diorama here to get everybody caught back up, relatively full up again. And let's get our just reward for coming out on top in that battle. Got a grand slasher there. Koromaro will be appreciative of having that. Continuing on this way, we've got another enemy to take on, as you'd expect, Let's get into the battle here. It's a very powerful enemy. Please make sure you're fully prepared for battle. And I'm ready. Got my auto mod Rakukaja in effect. Alright, Akihiko can't afford to lose. And we've got two dancers this time, two natural dancers. Hey, I remember you guys from Persona 3 FES and Portable. Let me think here. Once again, we should always err on the side of caution when I don't know what these things are capable of. Just hit them with this and see what they decide to use on us. Probably they're going, okay, Spirit Drain, that, whoa, hey, hey. Now that is rude, my friend. That is unbelievably rude. What are you even thinking there? Ugh, I'm gonna have to use another SP Restore on my team after this one. That is some, Not nice, not nice. We'll go with Ice and see if that gets us anything good. Nothing going there. Once Akihiko's turn comes back around, we'll know what exactly we need here. I'd love it if Shinji got a crit here, but he did not. Let's see what we've got for weaknesses here. Nothing! Okay. And now it's got, the SP to fuel their own offense here. Probably going to blast us with some nasty attacks here. Fortunately, nobody is weak to that. As a matter of fact, the protagonist is the opposite of weak to it. Good for us, good for us. Let me just make sure, yeah, Dakini is not wind weak. So what we can do is we can just fire off our own Herculean strikes. Yes, that is exactly what I wanted to see. We'll get Shinji going again. I could... Actually, you know what? I'm gonna have him, let me see here. Nah, it's gonna get back up. I was gonna have him bloody charge, and if he could have gotten a charge up and then used the heat wave, that would have been really good. Hey, Shinji barely uses that as is. I'm actually not too pressed about that one. I wonder if just to see, are these guys vulnerable to eerie sound? Well, theoretically, yes. If they were immune to it, it would have said blocked, but they did not actually get that, so I don't believe they are immune to it, but not really realistic that we're gonna get it off there. Ah, you're just torpedoing my... Oh my god, I'm gonna have to use so many SP restoratives after this. This is what I've been saving my SP restores for. It was the strategy. There we go. Not too terrible of a fight. If you have more reliable critical hits there, that would be a very good thing to bring to this fight. Let's see, nothing too interesting here, so we'll just take the money. Get a bunch of Balloons of Unities. There is the level 50 I need to get Rongda. Enemy annihilated. Great work. It's kind of unfair how the enemy could drain your energy. Even though we won, this could affect our progress. We can expect to encounter another powerful enemy up ahead. Blah, blah, blah. We are fine. We're fine. We're fine. Look, I've gotten so many SP restoratives just for this occasion. Let's just go down to them, because you'll see that I've got all these spinaches that I grew meticulously. We've got precious eggs, we've got somas, we've got just so many things to burn through. Like, why even concern ourselves? Let's just give myself that, pass these around. We'll go with meaty soul spinach on Mitsuru here, and then another large soul spinach to Akihiko. We're fine. Should also use the Mediorama here, and actually, I do want to use just one more soul spinach on the protagonist here. Make sure that we have absolutely everything we need for the next battle coming up. Get 2 chests here, which is very nice. Grabbing this right here, get Memoir 01. A being interfered with time and space, named as Shadow. We researched a time manipulation device with its power. My first grandchild, Mitsuru, comes to mind. And what will become of the Kirijo group once I die? Over in this one, we get bicolor shorts. Nice. Heading into this one, I believe this is the last set of bosses we have for this Monad passage. We'll find out if I'm gonna eat my words, though. Alright, heading up to this one.
Powerful enemy spotted.
I'm ready. I wasn't gonna talk over Fuka that time.
All right.
Man, Akihiko has just had so many words to say about these. Oh hey, it's a single enemy. Well, as usual, it's just always a good idea to make sure that as little damage as possible is being thrown your way. Likely this guy is gonna have some annoying gimmick. Oh, wow, that's surprisingly low-key for what we've been dealing with so far. Yeah, what are you even trying here, friend? What's the game plan? We're gonna maximize everybody's offense to make sure we're going good here. Get this guy hit with Rakunda. Once Akihiko's turn comes back around, we'll be able to figure out what it's weak to. This should be a pretty academic fight. Gonna bloody charge Shinji here, because his Theurgy is ready. We'll get him some pretty good damage, and give him a very good chance of getting a crit off of that. Let's see here. Yeah, weak to nothing, so we're just gonna have Akihiko use a Gigantic Fist. If he gets a crit, that's good. If he doesn't, that's expected. This is not something I'm concerned about. Look, we completely no-sell that. This guy is not exactly looking poised for greatness here. Why don't we just pop off, honestly? Let's go all in on our Theurgies here. We've got so many buffs and debuffs in play. Imagine if I get the critical hit here, or rather the freeze here. Yes, I did. Okay, we're going to just let Shinji do the honors here. Honestly, Mitsuru, take five. Shinji, show us what you got.
Caster, do it! Now, this'll end it!
This is a beautiful friendship, Shinji. I am so glad you're here. Okay, we've got one more shuffle time, and of course what that means is we've got one more opportunity to take some money. There we go. Shadow eliminated. Good work.
That was pretty good.
But there's no way I'll lose in the test of strength. The shadow with the feminine figure showed us no mercy, though. Kinda reminded me of Never mind. I value my life too much to say anymore. Yeah, she's to your left there. Looks as though you defeated all the shadows in this area. All you have to do now is open that treasure chest. Let's do it. Oh, Fuka, right here? Improper. Okay, that was a lame joke, I'll admit. You can throw your tomato at me. I deserve it.
Please.
We should be able to open this without worry. Let's check what's inside. And inside this little chest right here, we get the Tower Tarot and the Book of Pay. The Book of Pay, of course, expands our ability to draw cards, while the Tower card increases all our Persona's stats by 1. Very nice pickup there. Puzzling cards hidden away in this already strange space. This Tartarus truly is a tower filled with mysteries. Looks like a dead end. Do you want to head back right away? Of course. Okay, be careful on your way back. And making our way out into here. If we head on up here, a dead end. Looks like we can't progress any further for now. On the other hand, we've made a good headway. Nicely done. Come back whenever you're ready. It's your call to make, leader. I think we've done plenty for tonight. This recording on my end has been going on for 3 hours. So, I was right after all. These shadows didn't just come from anywhere. They're born from humans themselves. If my theory is correct, collecting shadows would mean... ominous. Regardless, we're able to return to the base floor now, at the end of Tzia for now. And also at the end of this video. I'm just gonna check something real quick. We're now capable of fusing Rangda, who I will do in due time, but I don't want to drag this video on for too much longer. The persona I was hoping to see in that search list was Siegfried. Siegfried is notable for being a very good persona who unlocks a very good fusion skill, or theurgy. And he also is one of the possessors of Auto Ma Sukukaja. So if I could fuse something with Auto Ma Rokukaja to create Siegfried, once we're the correct level for him, that would allow me to get something with Auto Ma Sukukaja very easily. So yeah, that would just make an even better auto buffer, and that would put us in a pretty good position for most of the rest of the game. But for now, this is where we're going to call it a video. As always, I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope to see you next time where we're taking on our next full moon shadow. With all the progress we've made, we're going to absolutely dumpster it, I can tell. See ya next time.
I don't dispute the doubts you've outlined.